Queen Elizabeth Centre here. This is on Sunday. It's going to be a referendum by Sikhs, or people of the Punjab sort of area in India. They want an independent state called Khalistan. So this is where it's going to be on the 31st of October on Sunday on Halloween.
The point to understand for us campaigning in Britain is that this struggle in the Punjab is a struggle against the New World Order, because what they're doing there is how they want to, control the world. And
yes.
you are the, biggest example of the opposite to what they want.
Yes.
So, if you win, all those struggling around the world can win. And if you lose, well, we're in a difficult position. I mean, let's be clear that you are, in a lot of ways, the forefront of the fight against the New World Order. I support them 100%. Let the UK Live organisation support you 100%. And we would urge, all thinking people in the United Kingdom to support this independence.
About Sikh justice. It was founded in 2007, I believe,
yes.
to push for this, push for justice internally in India. And since then, you said you've moved out. You've tried to go into the UN, but now you're looking for independence.
Yes, that started in 2014. When we saw that each and every door, nationally and internationally, is closed, what should be the alternative? Like, should we allow the Sikh community, since we are also part of that and we suffer that same persecution? Should we allow this to happen, or should we close our eyes? And that's why we decided that, that we cannot close our eyes against the violence that Indians are doing it. Otherwise, it will continue. Somebody has to put a stop. So we started the right to self-determination movement based on ballot, not bullet, because the Indians in the past lobbied after killing that we are killing only terrorists. I said, okay, let's go with the ballot. But the result and how they are crushing this one is equivalent to the same what happened in 1990s. From 2015 till today, there are more than 300 Sikh referendum campaigners, Punjab independence referendum campaigners, Khalistan referendum campaigners, who are being jailed and are being charged under sedition. They are tortured, and many of them have died.
And that's simply for asking for a referendum, just like we had a referendum here for Brexit.
Just for a referendum, just for asking for a referendum.
Westminster,
let's hope so.
Square.
Let's hope so. Let's see what happens on 31st, but we are very hopeful it will be tens and thousands.
And it will be running at what time?
9 to 6.
On Sunday?
On Sunday, 31st October.
Right, yeah, and this is the first leg, and can I ask just what legs have you got coming up afterwards?
We will be finishing UK in November, and then once the Commission sets up the procedures for the future voting, we'll be going to the European Union nations and other countries. The water resources and what we produce, 40% of the India consumes. More than 400 millions of Indians get the food from Punjab, and that's why they wanted to hold the Punjab as a state and the Sikhs as a hostage, so that they cannot progress economically. In 90.
Yes. And the Sikhs, so Sikhism is the sort of concentrated, is the religion of the Punjab essentially. It's the centre of the Sikh religion.
Yes, the majority of the Sikhs live in Punjab, but we have a wider diaspora, like 5 million outside Punjab, including the foreign countries. But there are at least 20% who live in other states, specifically the states of Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, which were the forest lands. And for the last 50 years, Sikhs worked hard and did their sweat and blood and cultivated those lands of Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, which India right now, the government, pushed those Sikhs back to Punjab, stating that you cannot have agricultural lands and the ownership of these lands because it was on the leasehold. But they cultivated, now they wanted to get it back. So of course Punjab is the bread and basket of that particular region, and the states of Haryana, the states of Delhi, the states of Rajasthan gets water, which is against the international laws of riparian laws, that they get the free water. So they are holding the water 5 kilometers away from Punjab and diverting it to other states, to the disadvantage of the Punjab farmers and the Sikh community.
So Punjab has traditionally been quite a tolerant land, and you've got your own language, and also the Sikh religion is very different from the mainstream sort of Hindu religion. So could you tell us a little bit about that? You've got your own language, haven't you?
The language means I'm not the person who is expert on religion. I have a strong political opinion that the Sikh community, who are the indigenous people of the Punjab, they should have their own country back as it was in 1849. But Sikhism is a totally separate religion started by Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and it has moved 400 years from now. But since 1947, when India got independence, what Indians did for the first time in the constitution, they labeled Sikhs as a part of the Hindu religion. So the Hindu family and personal laws applies to the Sikh religion and to the Sikh community. So if somebody has to marry, even a civil marriage, they have to register themselves under the Hindu Marriage Act. So that's how deep state is India, that they wanted to take over the Sikhs' lands, they wanted to take over the religion, and they wanted to make them economically and religiously weak.
And historically, it's been generally quite a tolerant country. So you've accepted Christians, you've accepted Muslims, you've accepted people of different religions within the Punjab, and you've traditionally been quite liberal.
Punjabis are, Sikhs are, but not India. They wanted to create, specifically now, they wanted to create India as a Hindustan, as a Hindu state dominated by that. But the people of Punjab, they are tolerant because of our religion, which teaches us that all mankind are one. So we are tolerant, and that's what we were tolerating from this Hindu-dominated India for 70 years. But that has changed after the attack on the Golden Temple in 1984.
So do you want to tell people a little bit more about the persecution you faced in 1984 and the attack on the Golden Temple?
So once, on June 3rd actually, 1984, the movement for our right to self-determination was supposed to start in 1984, June 3rd. And that's where the Indira Gandhi and the government at that time wanted to subdue and teach Sikhs a lesson, so that should not have asking for political rights as the movement was supposed to be. So after the attack on Golden Temple, there were more than 10,000 Sikh pilgrims who were killed and butchered to death in the cold blood. And the international media wasn't allowed at that time in Punjab. They were moved out of the Punjab. And the persecution started from June 1984. For next 3 months, the youth of the Punjab, which even I have seen, I was a teen at that time, that the Indian army, they used to come to the villages and pick up anybody who is above 14, and they would take them to the torture centers, and many have not returned back. Thousands have not returned back. And the Indian government used to say that they have fled and joined the terrorism. There wasn't any terrorism happening at that time. There wasn't anything happening. There wasn't any armed resistance happening at that time. And with the passage of the time, the Sikh bodyguards, Beyant Singh, they of course assassinated Indira Gandhi for her role for ordering the attack on the Golden Temple, and then started a cycle of genocide against the Sikhs in November 1984.
And the Golden Temple is the equivalent of Mecca or Jerusalem for some of the
Yes.
Abrahamic religions.
Yes.
It is fundamentally your holiest of holy places.
That is it. Yes.
And so, after the assassination of Indira Gandhi, what happened to the Sikh people?
So it happened on 31st, and that's the coincidence. That's what we are starting even our referendum campaign, and this will be the first vote on 31st. The Indian government and the Congress party at that time, leaders, the Rajiv Gandhi, they coordinated, they picked up and organized throughout India. There were more than 110 cities and 20 states where there was a systematic and organized killing and genocide of the Sikhs and the rapes of the women at that time. For 10 days, it went unabated, openly. And there were more than 30,000 Sikhs who were massacred, and there were thousands of women who were raped. And this is the only city in the world where you will find a widow colony of the Sikh women, where thousands still live. There are more than 900 as of today, even after 37 years, who are in Delhi, called widow colony. It's called London for number 4 Khalistan.org, or yes to Khalistan.org.
Thank you.
Can you spell that?
Yes.
Because
Yes, YES, number 2, KHALISTAN.org, and they can go and find more information about 31st October and about the voting and the eligibilities.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
citizen of this country needs to understand that implications of fundamental human rights are on each and every single one of us, and we need to support. It doesn't matter that you're not Punjabi. You can still come here and support us throughout the campaign and on the day. And we would be giving you days which the campaigns are being held. It's being held throughout the country. So on the 31st, do come here to the Parliament Square and join the campaign. And while this campaign is going on in the UK, I'll encourage as many people who want to take part and support the Punjab struggle, because the struggle in Punjab is not only limited to Punjab. The implications of that struggle is global. Freedom in Punjab will be freedom the world over. Thank you very much.